If you've been using exchanges like Crypto.com or Coinbase to buy and manage your crypto, but you've heard of self-custody and want to take more control of your assets, well, this is the video for you. I started investing in crypto back in 2017, and since then I've learned just how important it is to know where your crypto is stored, and more importantly, who controls it. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through Phantom Wallet, one of the most popular self-custody wallets out there, especially for those of you who are exploring the Solana ecosystem, NFTs, or DeFi. We'll cover what Phantom is, how it works, how it compares to an exchange like Coinbase, and of course, I'm going to walk you through how to set everything up step by step. By the end of this video, you will have a fully established Phantom wallet and the confidence to manage your crypto securely without relying on a third party. Before we get started, if you could quickly drop a like on this video and subscribe, it would really help support the channel. Real quick, I do have to mention here that I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't personalized financial advice. So before we dive into the actual setup process here, let's quickly cover what Phantom Wallet is and how this is different from a traditional centralized exchange. Phantom is a self-custody crypto wallet that was originally built for the Solana blockchain, but it also supports Ethereum and Polygon as well as Bitcoin, Base, and others. And self-custody means that you control your private keys, you are in complete control of your assets, and nobody, not even Phantom, can access your funds without your permission. Now, this added level of responsibility is comforting to some and stressful to others, so you make sure you fully understand the ins and outs of self-custody here before you move all of your assets over to something like this. Phantom launched in 2021 and quickly gained traction for its clean interface, NFT support, and easy connection to DeFi apps, especially on Solana. And since we're going to be hearing an awful lot about this Solana ecosystem, let's quickly cover now what that is too. Solana is a popular blockchain network used to send and receive digital tokens, build decentralized applications, and more. What makes Solana special is that it's fast. It can handle thousands of transactions per second, which is way more than Bitcoin or Ethereum. And in addition to being fast, it's also relatively cheap because the fees are much lower than many competing networks. So if you're exploring certain things like staking SOL or minting NFTs, then Phantom is pretty much going to be your go-to solution. You can think of it like the MetaMask for Solana, but it actually has a more friendly user interface. And if you want to learn more, I do have my full MetaMask tutorial in the corner for later. So now you might be asking yourself, why not just leave my crypto on exchange? Well, let's cover that now. When you buy crypto on Coinbase, Binance, or some other type of exchange, what you're actually doing here is trusting them to hold on to your crypto assets for you. You don't control the private keys, which means that if something ever happened to that platform, whether it's a technical glitch, government freeze, or a hack, your crypto could be at risk. With a self-custody wallet like Phantom, you are in complete control, but with that control comes a lot of responsibility. When you create a Phantom wallet, which we're going to do together here shortly, you'll be given something called a recovery phrase, which is 12 random words that are going to act as your master key. And this is extremely important. If you lose this phrase, you could lose access to your crypto forever. There is no forgot password button here. So keep that in the back of your mind here as we continue on with the rest of the tutorial. Alrighty guys, so here we are over in the App Store, and the very first thing we're going to do here is search for Phantom Wallet, and you'll do this whether it's going to be iOS or Android. So we're going to click here on search, and then in the top here type in Phantom. And at the very top here we have Phantom Wallet. So if we click on that, just below the ad results here, we have Phantom Crypto Wallet, a Web3 crypto, NFT, and DeFi wallet. So we'll go ahead and click on that now, and then we're going to click here on the blue Get button. Once that has successfully installed, we can go ahead and click here on the blue Open button. That's going to bring us over into the Phantom app, and it says, "Welcome to Phantom. To get started, create a new wallet or import an existing one." So if you already have a recovery phrase associated with this wallet, you could enter that here. But for the most part, 99% of the time, you're going to be creating a new wallet. So we're going to click here that we agree to the terms of service and then click on Create a New Wallet. And now we have some information to review. It mentions here that we can either log in or import an existing wallet. So if you want to continue with your email, you can go ahead and create an email account associated with your Phantom wallet, and that's going to store your seed phrase for you via email. Or you can create a seed phrase wallet. Now we're going to go ahead and do a seed phrase wallet because I want to show you guys how to have true self-custody here. But just understand this is going to come with added responsibility. So if you want to have a little bit less responsibility and a little bit more trust associated with Phantom, you can use your email, and then that's going to allow you to potentially recover it. If you see at the bottom here, it mentions easy recovery. You can recover access to your wallet with your Google or Apple account and a 4-digit PIN. So it's not going to be as scary for some people, but others are going to say, hey, I want full control here. I want my private key. So they're going to do the seed phrase route. So that's what we're going to do now is select create a seed phrase wallet. And now it says we need to choose some options here for how we protect the wallet. We're going to enable Face ID, and I'm going to click on allow, and then we're going to click on next. Now at this point, my recovery phrase is visible on the screen here, and that's why we are blurring it out. But you're going to want to record this somewhere safely. Now, a lot of people wonder whether or not you can just take a screenshot of this in your phone or copy it over into your notes. Both of those are a pretty lousy idea because if anybody gains access to your phone, they can then see those images or your notes without any other steps involved. So you're going to want to have this in an offline location. That means a device that's not connected to the internet. So maybe you're writing it down in a notebook and putting it in a safety deposit box or something like that. You just want to make sure you're not just going to be leaving this sitting on your phone where somebody who gets it could then have access to your full wallet. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to copy it into my notes, but that's because I'm not going to be actually using this wallet for anything other than demo purposes. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Once you have written everything down, you can click on OK, I saved it somewhere, and then it's going to make sure that you confirm that you have in fact done this. So we're going to click here on yes. And now we're going to create a username. So if you want to have somebody send you money using a username instead of a long cryptic crypto address with letters and numbers, that's what this would be useful for. This has a default one here for us. I'm just going to leave it as the default because I'm not actually going to be using this account. I don't want people to be searching for me and finding me and getting confused. So we're just going to leave it as is and click on continue. And just like that, we get a nice animation here, which is really cool, showing us that we are all ready and we can fully enjoy our crypto wallet. So notice that it didn't ask me for my email, my social security number, anything like that. That's because none of that information is tied to this crypto wallet. The only thing that really attributes it to me is that backup seed phrase, and that is the full password to access the wallet. And that's the only way to access this wallet. So now we're going to click on the Get Started button at the bottom, and we can make a decision here about notifications. I'm going to say don't allow, but obviously you can make your decision there. And then we have some options here to get started. It mentions you can fund your account to start trading crypto, meme coins, perpetuals, and more. So we can buy SOL with cash or we can deposit crypto. We're going to explore both of these options together here, whether we are just buying crypto within the app or sending it over from an exchange. But real quick, I'll just show you a basic overview. If we scroll down, we can see what our cash balance would be here. We can also add to that. You can see here where we have the option for perps or perpetuals. These are different tokens. If you toggle over to collectibles, this is where you would find NFTs that you might have in the wallet. Over here, this is where we'll be able to swap, which I'm going to show you that soon. Next one over here, this is going to show Phantom Cash. And this is something I'm not super familiar with here, so we'll take a look at it together and see what this new feature is. This is essentially going to be a debit card that's tied to your Phantom account where you can use your card anywhere and essentially use your crypto balance. So sort of similar to the Crypto.com card, if you're familiar. That's a card that I utilize myself, so you can use this. It looks like it's on a wait list right now, so they're not quite launching this feature just yet. But they are going to be offering something where you can basically spend your crypto balance right from a card, so that is pretty cool. And then all the way at the bottom right, you can go ahead and search. So if you want to research different tokens, you can go ahead and do that here. You can see top lists here for top gainers, meme coins, top losers, top traders. So you can even follow traders on here and see what people's performances are in terms of investing in different cryptocurrencies. There's an educational center and more. So for now, what we're going to do is navigate back to the home screen. And the very first thing we're going to look at here is buying Solana with cash within the app. We'll see if it lets us do that here. If not, we're going to then follow the steps here of sending it over from my Coinbase account. So let's click here on Buy SOL with Cash. and we're going to start by entering the amount that we're looking to buy. Now, the reason I say we'll see if it lets me is because I've had trouble with my Apple Pay in the past, and so it might not let me, but we will give it a shot and go through as many steps as possible here. So let's say we're looking to buy $50 worth of Solana. That's going to buy us 0.21 at this point in time. And right now it's going to be via Apple Pay and Topper. But if we click this drop down, we can see some different options that we have. If you see the drop down for Topper, there's some different providers that we can use. So for example, you might want to look at this yourself, because just taking a look here, switching over to Robinhood would actually give me the lowest price. So make sure that you are getting the best possible execution here with these different providers. So we are going to switch over to Robinhood. I do have a Robinhood account and Robinhood Connect, so that should allow me to utilize that and buy through the app. So now we have some options here for how we're paying with Robinhood. We either can use my Robinhood buying power, which I have in the account, Apple Pay, debit/credit card, or same day ACH. Since I already have buying power, which is money deposited to my Robinhood account, I'm going to click on that top option here, and then we're going to click on continue. At this point, we have the option here to open this page in Robinhood, so I'm going to click here on open. And I do now have to turn off the screen recording and just take screenshots, because Robinhood has a safety mechanism in place, so we'll go ahead and do screenshots now. So at this point, it loaded Robinhood Connect for me. We can see my buying power listed at the bottom, and I can click on the review order button. And this is going to bring us to a screen here where we can see the payment method, network address, the rate, network fee, etc. If everything looks good, we can go ahead and click on continue. And now we have a quick confirmation here about protecting yourself from scammers. You have to read this, accept, and continue. And then it says it's sending off the order. And just like that, the order was submitted. So now we can click on the button at the bottom that says go to Phantom. And it's going to now give us confirmation that we want to open things back up over in Phantom. And then we get a confirmation on this side that says purchase submitted. And it took just a few seconds for this to come over. I would say about 15 seconds if I were to estimate it. But now let's talk about how to send cryptocurrency over from an existing exchange account that you might have. So what we're going to do now is head over to Coinbase, buy some Solana, and then we're going to send it over to this newly created Phantom wallet. Over here in Coinbase, we're going to click on the buy sell button in the bottom right. We're going to click on buy crypto with cash, and we can see Solana is listed here under top assets. So if we click here on that, we can then type in $50 that we're looking to purchase. And I do have to change this over to pay out of my bank account. And then we can go ahead and click on review order. And it says here we're going to be buying $50 worth of Solana, available to trade and transfer instantly. And we're paying a fee here of about 92 cents going to Coinbase to make that purchase. So we're going to click here on buy now. And then we're going to click here on done. And it should appear in my wallet here pretty quickly, but we're going to click on home, and just like that, under crypto, we can see that we have this listed here, a balance of $59.49. And if I refresh this, we should see a Solana balance. So we now have $48, give or take, here in my Solana account here over on Coinbase. What we're going to need now is my wallet address from the Phantom wallet. Back here on Phantom, what we're going to do is click on this big receive button in the top left, and now we can see our various addresses that are supported. So we have Solana, Ethereum, Base, SUI, which I'm not too familiar with, Polygon, and Bitcoin as the supported networks, and you have addresses for all of these wallets by default that you could utilize. Make sure that you're sending the correct type of crypto over relative to each one of these addresses, though. So we're going to need the Solana address. We're going to click here on the copy button in the top right, and we have now copied our Solana address. So we'll now head back over to Coinbase, and we're going to click on the transfer button, and we're looking to send cryptocurrency. At this point, it says, do you want to paste from Phantom? And we're going to say allow paste. And same as before, I have to cancel the screen recording briefly here because of security reasons, but we have the option here to choose what was pasted from the clipboard, so we're going to click on that just below the search bar, and then we can go ahead and select the address that is listed below that, which is going to be exactly what we copied over. At this point, we can choose the amount we want to send over, so I'm going to click here on the max button, and then I'm going to click on preview. And then we just have to take a look here and see what the details are. So it mentions that This is going to take roughly 27 seconds, and the network fee is literally 2 cents. So this is truly impressive. But what we're going to do now is just click on the Send Now button, and it's going to now show that it was sent. We can click here on Done. And this time I'm going to turn the screen recording back on and hopefully catch it in time so we can watch it come over. So back here now, it's been maybe 15 seconds. We're going to watch in real time to see how quickly this balance comes over, because you don't even need to refresh your screen. It's just going to update in real time once that balance comes over. And just like that, we're at 98.18. So seriously, guys, this is pretty impressive how fast this network is. What I want to show you now, though, is how to get into staking, and then I'm going to show you the swap feature. So staking is mentioned right here where it says earn up to 8% APY by staking your SOL. Now, by no means is this going to be a crash course on staking, guys. I'm just showing you the feature. You need to look into this on your own and understand the risks and benefits involved here and see if this is for you. I just want to show you where in the app that you would go. But if we click here on earn up to 8% by staking, we can see that it mentions that currently by default you're earning 0%, and then you can click on convert your SOL into PSOL to earn up to 8% yearly. So if I click on that, we can see here that I have the option to stake my SOL with Phantom and earn 7.2% APY. So if I want to do that, I can go ahead and choose the amount that I want to stake. Now, there might be a minimum involved here, so I don't want to go ahead and do this just yet because I still want to swap Solana to show you that feature, and I also want to send it back to Coinbase to show you how to cash out. So I'm going to see if I can do this with a small amount of the balance here. So by default it shows 0.00856. I'll see if it allows me to do this amount if I click here on next. And it shows me here that if I were to do this amount here, it would be about $2 worth, and I can then be earning a 7.2% APY on this. So we'll see if it lets me. I'll click on the stake button. And just like that, I've staked a very small amount of my Solana to earn that 7.2% APY. And I can click here on close, and we can see now my balance has gone up slightly. That might be more so related to market fluctuation, nothing to do with what we were doing there. But I will now see if we can find the menu here related to the balance that I just staked. Essentially, what it did here is create a separate token listed under Solana. So I have Solana, and below that, Phantom Staked Solana, PSOL. So it's really like a different token here. If you want to earn that balance, it's essentially switching over from SOL into PSOL, but that is how you would earn that APY. The next thing I want to show you here, though, is how we would go ahead and swap this for a different token on the Solana network. You're going to do that by clicking on the swap button here. And now we can choose what we are looking to swap into. And if you're looking to get some ideas, we can see here under the trending section. Now, I do want to caution you here, guys, because altcoins in general are very risky. A lot of people lose money speculating with this type of thing. So I'm not endorsing this type of investment or anything like that, but just want to show you again where you would find this within the app. I'm just going to pick something random here. I don't have any idea what these are. But we'll just go with the top trending coin here, which is Dork. If I choose Dork here, this shows us it's actually Doge Fork. I, again, have no idea what this is, but we're just going to swap into this for demonstration purposes. To do that, we're going to choose this drop down that says US dollar coin, and we can type in DORK. And then we can see unverified tokens here, but Dork is listed here. Now, it mentions this is an unverified token, so I think that, again, just means that it's a very small cap coin, and it's not something that is very actively traded. So your risk here is going to be something you have to take into consideration yourself. Again, not an endorsement here, just a demo. We'll click 50% here to put 50% of my value here into Doge Fork. And then I'm going to click on swap now. And just like that, it's swapping from SOL into Doge Fork, which is a top trending crypto. And truth be told, because this is up so much right now, probably I'm going to lose like 80 to almost maybe 100% of my money of what goes into this because of how these altcoins generally behave. So we can see that I have 155 of these tokens here of the Doge Fork. I have my Phantom Staked SOL and then my original Solana balance. What we're going to do now is look at how to cash out from Phantom. So let's say, for example, you had a balance here that you were looking to cash out back into fiat currency and get money heading back to your bank account. A lot of people get confused with this step because they don't know how to get back to their exchange, and that's how most people are going to get back to cash, is by sending the crypto back over to their crypto exchange and then selling it over there and sending those funds back to their bank account. So for this purpose, we're going to use Coinbase, and the first thing we're going to need to do this is the Coinbase Solana wallet address, which is where we're going to send this back over to. Back over on Coinbase, I'm going to click here on crypto, and then we can see my different crypto wallet balances listed, but we just have to search for it this time since I sent all of my Solana over. It's no longer listed. So if we click here on the top option here for Solana, we can now click here on transfer, and we are looking to receive crypto, and this is going to show us our Solana wallet address, which I'm just going to click on the copy button here, and now we're going to navigate back over to Phantom. From here, we're going to click on the send button, and then we are going to send our Solana, and it shows us the option to paste over our address from Coinbase. I'm going to click here on allow paste, and it shows us the wallet address that was pasted. We can select that below and then click here on next. From here, we can enter the amount we're looking to send over, and to keep it simple, I'm just going to send the maximum. So if I click here on max, it's going to send about $48.11 worth. We're going to click here on next in the top right, and we can see the network fee here is going to be just under 2 cents. Crazy, again, just how inexpensive this is. And if everything looks good, we can click here on the send button, and then we can click here on close, and it's going to then show us our activity section of everything we've done so far in this video. So we received Solana from purchasing it and moving it over from Robinhood directly. And then we had the option here of sending it over from Coinbase. Then we swapped over some of our Solana into a altcoin, and now we've sent over the remaining Solana balance back over to our Coinbase wallet. If I click on the X and then refresh here, it should show this as already sent over, and I bet you if I go over to Coinbase, we're going to see it reflected in our balance. And just like that, our balance has increased to $59.04. If we click here on crypto and just refresh it, we can see our Solana balance listed. It's amazing how fast this comes over. All I would do from here is select this, and then I would sell my Solana off, and then I would click on the buy and sell button, and I would click on sell crypto for cash, and I would sell my Solana balance off to my US dollar wallet, and then transfer those funds back to my bank account. Now, I'm just going to leave this in here for demo purposes, and you may be using a different exchange, but I just wanted to explain that those are the steps that most people would follow here, is sending the balance over from your wallet back to the exchange, going back to your local fiat currency, and then transferring back to your bank account. One final note on that is you might have a time delay when you sell your cryptocurrency on exchange before you're able to transfer it to your bank account. And that just might be related to verification here, and it might be 1 or 2 business days before your funds actually settle and mean that you can actually transfer it back to your bank account. There you have it, guys. That's a full tutorial here on the Phantom Self-Custody Wallet. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully you now know the differences between this and a traditional exchange. You can click below to watch this next video we think you'll enjoy, and I'll see you next time.